I would never ever want to, you know, step away from Harry Potter completely, because I'm immensely proud of the series and particularly this film. But it was certainly, you know, any boy who's of 16 who's got aspirations to act in the future and gets offered the part of Alan Strang in a production of Equus with Richard Griffiths and directed by Thea Sharrock would be really stupid to turn that fantastic opportunity down. So, you know, it was a great script and I was offered the part, and yeah, and so I said yes, because it's you know, probably one of the most important post Second World War plays that has been written. So it seemed like a very obvious decision for me.
Okay. Oh, go on. The kissing scene. What was more complicated or difficult, being naked or kissing?
Being naked was possibly not as complicated, but although, you know, belt buckles can give everybody a bit of trouble at times. But no, I mean, I don't, yeah, it's a very dull answer because it's probably the one that everybody would expect. But no, kissing Katie was a very, very comfortable experience, especially when compared to being naked on stage and blinding horses. Oh, Katie will be relieved to know that I preferred kissing her.
Thank you very much. Yeah, there's a chap in the suit just here, in the tie.
Hello guys, from Sky News, Matt Smith from Sky News. Daniel, on the subject of your production, your theatre production, what's more difficult, working with animals or working with your co-stars here?
Well, I didn't actually work with animals on stage. We didn't have real horses, because we'd go through 6 a show. No, but I mean, you can't really compare the two experiences, I mean, in terms of theatre or film, because they are so different. I mean, I think stage is technically a lot more demanding than film in terms of the vocal side of things, and you know, I think a lot of actors think you can just sort of happily saunter onto a stage after doing film or telly or whatever and just be able to do it, but I sort of knew that wasn't the case, and so, you know, I did a lot of training to be able to go on stage, and yeah, so I'd say that stage is probably it's a much tougher discipline, I think.
Although there's plenty of animals in Harry Potter, of course, aren't there, that you have to cope with?
Yes, there are. Owls by the dozen, yes.
Okay, next question. Down the front here for you, Sarah. Young lady in the greenish top.
The first question is to Daniel. And Harry lost his parents, and in this film their memory keeps recurring into Harry's mind. On the other hand, you have a fantastic parent who have been very supportive of you. So could you tell us your thoughts on the family and the love and relationship with your parents? And the second question is to Daniel, Emma and Rupert. In terms of acting, when you watch the other two are acting on the set, did you have a moment when you felt that, oh, I can't do that, and he or she is much better than I do? Did you ever have that kind of experience? And if so, what sort of skills would that be?
Okay, well, if we start with Emma, then did you ever get intimidated watching the other two acting?
Well, not so much watching them act, but I remember when kind of sort of throughout the series that I never done any professional acting before I came to these films, and both of my parents are lawyers, and you know, this world that I've come into, you know, was just beyond sort of anything I'd ever sort of dreamed of. So I remember Dan's face when I said I didn't know who Gary Oldman was. He looked at me like I had 3 heads, or worse. I just sort of felt, I definitely felt for the first 2 films just a sort of bit out of my depth, and just as though, am I doing this right, and am I good enough, and so I mean, I guess Rupert and I were sort of in similar positions in the fact that we hadn't had any previous experience before, but sort of Dan had, and he's sort of grown up slightly more aware of the industry that we're in, whereas I was extremely naive. In a way, it was good that I was naive, because I was already nervous enough without knowing that actually Maggie Smith was a pretty good actress, and they were all pretty serious, really, and I don't think I would have been able to come to the set. I think I would have just been a complete state. So in a way that worked out well, but
I think one of the things that David pointed out, that it is a very safe environment as well to be in, because you've all got to know each other so well. So
yeah, and the other thing I was about to say is that it's such a comfort, actually. I don't get intimidated by Dan and Rupert particularly. It's such a comfort having them there, because we're all going through the same experience at the same time, and it's nice to be able to ask questions and share experiences and just be like, how did you find it? It was okay, kind of, just discuss it later. So they've actually been really important in making me feel better, not worse.
Rupert, you've got to know Dan and Emma so well. Do you feel very comfortable when you're doing those scenes? There's a wonderful scene after Dan's done the kiss with Katie, which I think is one of my favourite scenes in the film, personally. But it's a lovely moment between the three of you. Do you get that?
Yeah, definitely. I think because we've been doing it for so long with each other, we just feel really comfortable with each other, and over the years we've become really good friends. So it's just a really sort of good atmosphere on set.
Absolutely. The scene Ben's referring to is actually, as he said, immediately after the kiss with Katie, me, Rupert and Emma are all in the Gryffindor common room, and we're sort of discussing the kiss, and you can see all of us desperately trying to stop ourselves laughing. And I can't actually remember what that day had been particularly funny, but something had... Really? It must be probably something as completely strange as that. And you know, I remember seeing the film for the first time. I thought, my God, why did David use that take? But then it actually works really, really well. And you know, so yeah. And in terms of the family question that you asked, I mean, I think it's incredibly important. You know, I mean, my parents have been fantastically supportive throughout the whole series of films, and you know, I couldn't have done it without them, and it's, you know, it's people like my parents and also all my friends, you know, who are just completely honest with you all the time, that avoid any, you know, they stop you from becoming arrogant or things like that. You know, they keep you grounded, I think. So it's, yeah, vitally important.
Thanks, Dan. There's a chap with us up top there.